Hey everyone, Bam here. So, in this challenge, I will try to get to a mirror of Kalandra in 4 days. This is the goal. I don't know if I'll be able to achieve it, but I'm starting a brand new character. Now, this is what I am at the end of day 1. Um, but I'll talk about what I did, and I'll show you a bunch of stuff I actually did. So, the goal of this video is to simulate a league start. So, I will not be like using the void stone I have and stuff like that until I defeat the bosses. And also I will not be using like D16 straight up or using any currency to fuel this build. Instead, what I will be doing is starting from scratch. So that means doing the campaign and not skipping anything, not giving it gear or anything, just doing it just like a league starter. And then once I get to map, start focusing on making currency to be able to afford the items for this build. So this is a weird one, so I'll just show you what items I'm currently using. So this is all the items I bought at the end of day 1. So if you look at it, there's a bunch of uniques, but it didn't cost me much for two reasons. First off, Magic Find is really present in this league, so most uniques are really cheap. So, like, let's say a void battery, which would be really pricey normally on the league start, is like 20 chaos right now. Same goes for Ralakesh and Patience, which I think is one of the best unique right now. They're like 50, 60 chaos. So yeah, it's pretty weird. But same goes for the Badge of the Brotherhood too. Like one divine, this is like at league start it's like 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 divines. So yeah, like I'm working with the economy, so some things will not be just like a league start, but the most important thing is I'm not playing with the mist at all, so I'm not playing with the league mechanic, which is probably the most rewarding thing this league. Not gonna lie, like and I would say ever, because there's so many mirrors that can drop from this and so many like raw currency. So yeah, this is out of the way. I just wanted to test this stuff. Yeah, we'll see how far we can go. Okay, so with that being said, now how did we make currency on day 1? So I focused on getting emulating getting as many points as possible. So what I would do is just do a new map every time and try to do all my tier 1, all my tier 2, then tier 3, tier 4 and tier 5 and so on. And with a mix of some yellow and all the white maps, you can actually get to this point, which is using 48 points. So yeah, so this focuses on getting essences, and that's probably what I'm going to do in the next league, unless I run into heist. But I've been running heist like forever, so I want to make a change for now and just I think I'll just farm essences. And where essences really is the best is when you use them yourself. But if you're just selling them early league, they're pretty cheap. Most people will pay really few chaos for even deafening essences, so it's not really worth that much. But if you can craft a bunch of stuff, and I have videos about it, how to craft stuff with essences for profit. So and also you can craft your own gear. So yeah, this is what I did. So pretty much it's the most the least points we need to get essence on the benchcraft, and all the essences points we actually want. Those two I do not want because I don't want to get like an essence that's already corrupted, but maybe I should be taking them because Remnant of Corruption is at such a high price now that maybe it would be a better idea, but I didn't. And the reason why we're taking all those points is that for this league 323 there's no essence craft on uh, the map device. So in order to be able to access it, you have to have 7th gate allocated. So now, as it says, all possible league map crafting options are available. So when what it does, it gives you access to paying 2 chaos to get 2 more essences on your map. So super worth it. But the difference is that you have to pick up every single gateway. All right. So this is the atlas we were using, and then I'll show you what I was doing my maps. All right, before we showcase the maps that I did for essence farming, I just want to share something. So the first thing I did is when I crafted with my essences, I actually didn't sell any essences. I just crafted with them. And what I would do is I would sell the items I crafted, the cheap items for like 20, 30, 40 chaos, whatever, as long as I got some currency. And then as soon as I could, I bought a divine for from my chaos for 155 chaos. And I set up a shop and I did this for 4 different things. So at first I only had the divine orb for orb of regret, but as you can see, one divine orb for 320 orb of regret. So you don't get much people getting a bite out of this, but when you do, you're making a huge profit because I would sell the Orb of Regrets for 66 chaos per 80. So if you do the math, I'll just get my calc out. 66 times 4 because as I said, 8 per 80 and 320 is 4 times 80. So every time we would make 264 chaos, so minus 150 or minus 55 for the divine, we'd make 114 chaos profit. So as I said, we don't get many people actually buying those, but when we do, we're making banks. So then we can sell them back into chaos, and yeah, you get the idea, right? So I did this for Orb of Unmaking, Val Orbs, Gem Cutter Prism, and Orb of Regrets. So I would just get my map done as fast as possible, corrupting most of the essences I would find. As you can see here, I'm still selling some bulk gem cutter. As you can see here, it's pretty good profit as we're paying a divine for 55 gem cutter. So yeah, back to the map, we just run through the map, killing all the essences. And I would kill the boss, but if you want, you can just skip it. The reason why I kill the boss is that there's a chance it gives me another map, so I can keep doing this. At only 2 chaos per for 2 additional listens, it was a no-brainer. Pretty much so easy to get our money back. The weird part is that Remnant of Corruption are worth way more than they usually are. Right now they're like 4 or 5 chaos each. Normally at the beginning of the league they're half a chaos or a chaos. So once you have enough map sustain, you can just skip killing the boss and only do the essences. You can see it's pretty fast.
Just need a moment to catch my breath.
The cycle of life and death continues, and the fittest home.
Normally I would do the Jun missions, but since we're only focusing on making as much currency as possible, I just skip them. And yeah, this is what we're looking for, the essences. Okay, now that we have the essences, what do we want to do? Well, as I said, I will not be selling the essences, so I will craft items myself instead. So I'll just show you some of the crafting I did, and then I'll show you some of the sales. So here's a little crafting session I do before like grinding maps. So here we have things corn to get the crit multi on rings and essence of delirium. So I'll just use it on a item level 84 amethyst ring. We could buy a fracture and stuff like that, but I just want to craft as fast as possible. So we'll just use all of them and see what we'll come up with. We go, and then yeah, we can price check it. So that one like is pretty garbage, right? But if you look at it, and we're trying to undercut by a bunch. Yeah, 105 chaos. Still, like the essence is like 30 chaos or something like that. So what about that one? That one's even worse. Yeah, sometimes you miss. Yeah, they all like be bad. And this one better. Like for those essences, kind of failed. Multi, fire and cold, no. Here we have cold resist. That try to get at least 50 life. Okay, here you can craft like more chaos resistance, which I really like because people are trying to fix their build, so cool. Alright, now this one is pretty good. So it has tier 1 resistance, tier 1 energy shield. So yeah, we'll just craft life on it, and this one should be worth a ton, like if we price check it without the energy shield. Maybe not 40 divine, but we can still sell it for a couple of divines. People are playing right now, but yeah, you can see from a single essence what you can actually get. So this one is a good one. Next, not bad, since we have tier 1 life and we have some resistance. So on that one, I'll be crafting a minus mana cost on non-channeling. Try to sell it for quite much. This one is bad. Craft life. What about this one? Yeah, again, a pretty bad one. This one isn't bad at all, like dexterity and fire resist. Yeah. And by the way, this is just using an essence on a 1 chaos base, so yeah, it's pretty easy to craft for profit. Of course, the league is ending, so there's not as many people as there would on league start. Alright, next we have 2 helmet with 13% chance to suppress spell damage. And we will be using Essence of Loading because we want to guarantee the mana reservation. So if you look at it, Order Armor, 9 to 10% increased mana reservation. And we're trying to get something good. So here we found a tier 3 chaos resistance, so we'll keep it. On that one, nothing's too cool. Again, let's see. Maybe we'll keep that one, but it's very bad. But that one's cool. Like if we just price check mana reservation, spell suppression, and chaos resist, I don't think it's worth that much, but we can just craft life on it and be done with. Or we could also use some ichor and embers. So you have to take into account that sometimes it's worth using the ichors or the embers, but sometimes it isn't. And now since like those are like worth a couple of the divines, I think it's worth it. But if you're crafting like let's say a 15 chaos item, don't worry about it. Like it doesn't matter really what it is as long as it's useful. And then yeah, we can craft life on both of them. If the other person who's buying it want to go further, they can, but for now, this is all I will do. So the way I changed my chaos back into divines is mainly by buying exalted orbs. So the Redeemer, Crusader, and Warlord exalted orb for some reason sell for 1 divine each. Okay, so they sell 1 for 1, but when you check the price in chaos, they're like 70 or 80 chaos. So what I did is I just bought them and listed them for a divine each. And I bought a bunch of uniques, so they were at a fixed price, but the helmet and the ring actually crafted them, so I'll show you how. Alright, so I'm going to craft a new helmet. So the way I go about it is I get a at least level 75 Blizzard Crown, and I'll add Warlord influence to it. And the way we craft it is we actually try to get suffixes full and have a open prefix. That way we can hit the +1 power charge, which we're looking for. If it fails, we'll just reroll over it. So we'll just use Chaos Orb until, as I said, we have suffixes filled and open prefix. So that way we can hit the +1 power charge. So now we have 2 suffixes. We just need to craft something on the suffix. Let's say dexterity or something. There we go. And then we use the Warlord Exalted Orb. So we'll add a Warlord Influence. That way we have a chance of getting a power charge, but it's very, very low. And we got increase in elemental damage. So the next step is just alt spam until we get the +1 power charge. Okay, the next step is we scour the item and then use an orb of transmute, make it magic, and then we'll just write down power for power charges on the bottom, and we all spam until we get something. Well, until we get the power charge. It's a pretty low weight, so it can take us a while. But since there's no tag to power charge, it's the only way to go about it. We hit a bunch of mods, bunch of Warlord mods, but as I said, the +1 power charge is really low weighting, so it will take some time and some luck. And then I bought this base for 8 divines. It already had the elevated redeemer prefix, which is physical damage taken as cold. But you could do it yourself using an orb of dominance on a base that has tier 1 physical damage taken as cold and another modifier, and then pray for the 50-50. But since that base was only 8 divines, which is pretty much the cost of a 50-50, and also you have to find those bases. So this is what I did instead. I bought the base, so I'll just apply this using a Awakener's Orb onto my Wizard Crown. But first I want to use a Regal Orb. Alright. Make sure when you're using Awakener's Orb, you actually click on the first item you want, be destroyed, and moved over to the second one. So here we have a power charge, and here we have the physical damage taken as cold. So it will move the physical damage taken as cold, and then reroll all and keep the power charge, and then reroll everything else randomly. So what did we get? Okay, so this isn't bad at all. Okay, the evasion and maximum energy shield is okay, but it's not the best. But we have tier 3 cold. Cool. Then what I'd like to do is get another resistance modifier. Alright, now we'll take this helmet and just block a suffix that we do not want. So we do not want dexterity or intelligence, so we'll block them. Now, orb of alteration. Then we exalt slam, hoping for a resistance, as I said. Okay, energy shield recharge rate doesn't do much, but yep, it happens. And then, depending on what resistance we need, I'll be crafting the suffixes that I actually need for, because this build uses a ton of uniques, so which doesn't have any resistance, so it will be hard to actually cap our resistance. But I'll find a way with a ring, because if you will look at right now, we have -6 fire, we have 47 cold and 45 lightning. I don't think I'll be able to max my chaos resistance, but it's okay. Next, we buy our base for the ring. Alright, now we bought a fractured fossil, which was 35 chaos. The reason why I bought a fractured fossil instead of a splitting beast is that right now my build is missing a bunch of resistance, so I don't even know if I would be able to kill the beast in the menagerie. So that's why I'm using this instead. A orb of scoring to make our item white, and 4 prismatic catalysts, which were 35 chaos each, to make it 20% quality of resistance. Alright, so now, and okay, make it rare, and then yeah, we can fracture it, and we have 2 rings now. So we can sell that one back, and this one we'll craft it, or we could craft both, which I think is what I will be doing. Since I pretty much gave up on the chaos resistance, having my chaos resistance cap, what I'll try to do is use prismatic catalyst. That way we have more elemental modifiers. So those were 1.5 chaos each. Okay. So we're trying to get something similar to this. That way we can craft another suffix on it, but higher tier. So what we could do is more likely, but to be honest, more likely is so bad that I don't think it's worth. For the sake of this view, I'll do it. So it worked. Aside of the increased cold damage, we kept the lightning and the cold, and we got high tier. So yeah, this is pretty good base, but I mean, having the cold damage doesn't do much, to be honest. And yeah, if we were to, let's say, check the price out of it, we craft another 50. Maybe it's worth. I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest. But yeah, we could like craft see if we put it on. But or okay, so fire is still at 6%. So we could swap over the lightning to fire and then craft lightning and fire maybe. So this would get us to 60 fire and 51. Yeah, that could be our ring. So okay, I'll do this. I'll just swap the lightning to fire and then lightning. All right. If we put it on, what are we missing? We're missing like 30 points of lightning and 13 of fire. So if we craft fire and lightning, we should. We're still missing some, but we have to remember we have a still have this on the helmet, which we can craft chaos and lightning. Let's see. Go. I crafted coal and lightning, my bad, so wasted currency. So here it is. We like now we have max elemental resistance, but again, I could fix my resistance with using charms and stuff like that, but I don't want to be using charms because this is theory crafting for the next league, so I'm not using anything that comes from this league. But yeah, we can actually craft the other one, see what we come up with. Oh, 20% increased cast speed. That's pretty cool, to be honest. And now a couple of sales I made. I will not put everything down because it takes forever to edit, but yeah, you can see some of the stuff I sold on day one. So after a full day of running maps and getting a bunch of essences, this is what I'm left with. So I have 14 divines and 731 chaos plus a bunch of essences. And I will probably invest all that currency into buying some more bases so I can craft more stuff with essences. So as you can see, big fail there. It happens, so I had to revolt alt spam over and get my +1 to power charge again. Anyway, hope this was helpful. I'll keep you updated. Tomorrow I'll update the day 2 of the challenge. Take care, guys.